Come on, Russell, how are you? Trying to get a few things started over here.
And now introducing a South Jersey production. Let it know that 1, 2, 3 is on the microphone. I'm not running some junk that was a bad science project. This is a wicked machine built with skill, sweat, and blood. Johnny down the street thinks he has the heat, but when I key down the microphone and sucker is gone. So get yourself together and do it right, otherwise you're not gonna get your name called tonight. So when you come across me across the band, you know I'm gonna wave a hand. I'll be screaming 1, 2, 3, South Jersey. Working my ball by 24-pound in my psycho zip driver. So if you wanna drop to the hammer, give me your best try and watch your transistor stack spill that smoke out. No joke, they call me Danny 1, 2, 3, South Jersey. And now introducing. Let it know that 1, 2, 3 is on the microphone. I'm not running some junk that was a bad science project. This is a wicked machine built with skill, sweat, and blood. Johnny down the street thinks he has the heat, but when I key down the microphone, that sucker is gone. So get your stuff together and do it right, otherwise you're not gonna get your name called tonight. So if you come across me across the band, you know I'm gonna wave a hand. I'll be screaming 1, 2, 3, South Jersey. Working my more watts, 24 pill in my psycho zip driver. So if you wanna drop to the hammer, give it the best try. You watch your transit.
All right. What's going on, everybody? It's Sunday Fun Day. We're up in here at the shop. We're going to do this video and explain a little bit about this 2-driving 8 unit. Now, these units, I say even on the price list, the units are available with 2879's or 2290's or 1446's or 454's as far as the driver stage goes. Now, this is the first one that someone actually wanted with the 2879's. And with that said, you have this potentiometer here, and that's going to control a lot of what your radio is going into this. As you increase and decrease this knob, you're going to make more power, and with that said, your dead key will also change and follow that as well. So if you're expecting to see tons more power out of this, it's not going to happen just because we have this potentiometer here. It's not designed to be driven any harder than what your radio is going to provide for it. So as long as we can understand that, you have a little bit of control with this unit, and you make a few more peak and a few more RMS watts just because you have a little stronger, more rigid transistor. So with that said, yeah, 100 ohm potentiometer in here. You have a 2-pill stage with 2879's in here, and then you have 2879's, and these are all standards over here in the 8 transistor stage. So I have 3 6-gauge power wires coming in the back end of this thing, and then a 3/8 ground bolt stud. So with that said, you have your air cooling over here. This is your exit air for the hot air that's coming out. So cool air comes in through these two 120 millimeter 106 CFM filtered fans on the inside and out, meaning inside meaning the voltage feeding it. See, I got a nice little filter board on there. So it has a very good cooling system in here. So if you remember, I always tell people when they get my equipment to take the time, unpack it, inspect the outside of the unit, and then take all the screws out by hand, don't use power tools, and inspect the inside of this unit. And basically all you're going to look at is make sure everything's still connected. Like you'll look at this board and say, yeah, it's still nice and solid. You don't take and tug on none of these tuners at all, and you can see everything should travel. One of the most important things I like people to do is take and allow them to take cover off. Take your finger and just take a moment and go up and down with this a few times. Make sure she's in resting like it's supposed to. So if it's not, you're not going to get receive or transmit, because if it's cocked or knocked out of kilter a little bit, it's not going to make a good contact. What happens here is these reeds of the relay, try to zoom into it, these reeds right here they come up and they touch this top one. That's resting position. This is the bridge, the bypass tune bridge. So signal comes in, if you're not using this amplifier, it comes in from this SO, goes through that little white wire, comes across this reed, hits that contactor, comes across, makes across the bridge, and then does the same thing, exits the box. So, but when it's functioning, now this claps, goes down. Now you're sending that signal on through this coax over here to the input of the potentiometer. Now you can control this unit by changing, if you want to do less power, by changing the 4.7 ohm resistor here that I have in here as far as attenuation goes. What's going on, 903? So 4.7 is pretty common for this, but if you're like, hey man, I don't want to back this down and I want this box to do a little bit less, you could take and put a 10 or 15 ohm resistor right here and slow it way down. So anyhow, that is the construction of this 2-drive-and-8. Worked out really well. This is a 001 box just because it has 2879's in it all the way across. So it says in and out, and you again a remote jack in the back as well. And that's pretty standard. Now, is this box capable of going on sideband? Absolutely not. The reason why I say that is because you cannot control that driver stage. So your signal comes in here and you can't control it. You're going to path that right in here and it's going to overload this circuit if you take and drive that full blow into this. So this is an AM only unit. If you were to get a straight 8, yes, it would be sideband capable, automatic in fact. You wouldn't even have a switch, it'd just automatically do it. This one is not. This is a AM only. Now, real quick, we're going to jump into this coax thing since I like talking about this stuff so much, and it's good time to talk about it. So, from my R&R Cobra 29 up there on the test bench, I have a half a wavelength of coax feeding into this radio here. Now, this is 9201. I believe that's the number on this coax. This is the smallest coax that has a VOP or velocity factor of 0.66. So I was able to stub tune this thing to frequency, and so it gives me a half a wavelength to input of this. And I included this line section because that's that much longer. So when I stub tune my stuff, I include my line section of how I'm going to run it. And if you're just doing a test and you slide it in there, cool, it's just a test. But if you're going to permanently run it, I highly suggest you take the time and stub tune your coax, get it to the frequency or the same zip code that you're actually talking on. Kind of really important. So now we accomplished, we have a half wavelength going into this unit. We also have a half a wavelength going out, and that's going off to my dummy load. But if it weren't on a dummy load, this would go off into a meter assembly. The same half a wavelength would go to a meter assembly, let's say a dozy. Or whatever, just a dozy, a council meter. I'm not even going to give it a name. Let's say a council meter that plugs in the back of it, or a stock bird meter that has the line section still in the actual meter. We take them all apart. This is a dual, but normally it's a single in those. But it's really important that you get your coax right. So you got a half wavelength going in, and you have a half wavelength going out of this unit. So there's the phase angle on this thing. We're going to run this thing tonight at 14.7, 14.8. Yeah, I could take and bring up the volts a little bit, and we might take and go ahead and just hook up the other one as well. In fact, I'm going to prepare all of this stuff real quick. Put the skin on this. Turn on the amp meter. Turn on this power supply. You know it's not hooked up just yet. Got cable ready though. All right. I believe we are ready to run. All right, so here we go. Got a huge Psycho Zip sticker on here, quality control sticker. Quality control Psycho Zip. Oh man, you've got a gold one on here. This is the #1 box. All right, so let's just take a look real quick at that keys and what they do to our amplifier. Then we'll look at our input reflect and we'll look at slugs. So, all right, so this is a 25 watt slug and a 5 watt slug going back to my radio. So, but let's just take a look at this real quick. This is my radio dead key. Each line's a half a watt here. 25 watt slug, top scale. So I'm dead keying right under 1.5 watts. Let me see when we go right to 1.5 watts. There we go. There's 1.5 watts. So in return, that 1.5 watts, let's take a look at my slugs real quick. We're going to look at a 1,000 watt slug in analog and a 2,500 watt slug in analog and peak, RMS. And then we're going to look at 2,500 and we're going to look at the 5 kilowatt. We're going to look at the 5 kilowatt on this one. And on the digital day, we'll look at 2500 as well. Since they're all there, we're going to use them. All right, let's take a quick glance at this amp clamp. See, she's zeroed out. You should have nothing going on it. All right. Like it work? Yes. All right. So here we go. We'll look at this amperage real quick. Audio. Well, 118, 120 amps. Let's see what we're up here. And the voltage. Audio. Yeah, same thing, 120 or so. All right, so my 1.5 radio is my dead key. There's my 1.5. Let's see the swing to. Audio. So we're doing right around 10.5 watts. Got this radio up here spiking. We'll drop it down a little bit. Not necessary, but we can just to show you the difference later in the video. Look at our input reflection. Each line is 1/10 of a watt. This is a 5 watt slug. So full scale is 5 watts. This is my input reflect going back to my radio. So a little over 1/10 of a watt. That's pretty handy. All right, we're wide open on the box. All right, let's take a look at 1000 watt scale. Top scale, each line is 20 watts. Bottom scale, I should say. Each line is 20 watts. So that 1 3/4 dead key gave me an overall 300 watts. That's a good number. That's a real nice number. Now watch how far she swings. You want the swing. Audio. So let's show me like 880 or so. Let's look at this 2500 analog. Each line is 50 watts. Top scale. Audio. Right there, and looking at 900. Let's see what the RMS is over here on this 5 kilowatt, I think I'm on. Yep. RMS, audio, 9950 on this one, and the peaker tweaker on both of them. Here's the digital first. Peaker, tweaker. 1850, not bad. All right, let's see the analog up here, 2500, each line's 50 watts. Audio, 1, 2, figure, tweaker, audio, figure, tweaker. So it's almost 17 right there on that one. So each their own. You have variances in slugs, and I'm not claiming every one of my slugs are right, and they're not going to be, and they shouldn't be. That's a bunch of hocus pocus, I think. You get them close, get them in that ballpark, and that's what's really cool. Now, taking and using this thing now at a 1.5 carrier gives me an overall, and I just kind of want to go over this real quick. Here's my 1.5 carrier again. Okay. There at that 1.5, right? And I'm a swinging. Let me swing in a minute. All right, here's the carrier. No modulation. 300, a little touch over. So 1.5 gives me right at 300. Now we'll put a little modulation on it. Audio. Okay, 10. Audio. Hello, radio. So that 8 pill is honestly, yes, it's running better than all the other 2290s and the 1446s. Yes, it does. It has more drive out of these transistors, and we know what drive does and peak does, because that peak is way up there. You can run backwards about a week or so and look at the last 2x8 I did, maybe a couple weeks. But you go back and watch it, and you go to 2500 scale, and we'll check. All right, here's 2500. I think that's why I did those tests on. Tweaker, audio. So 1650, 1700, and if I use the 5 kilowatt, that'd be this one. Audio, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So either way, you're showing more power out of these transistors wide, out of this whole unit, because the transistors do a little bit more than the 2290s, 454s, or the 1446s. So 2879's are a good working driver. You have to do a little work to make sure everything works properly on them. So let's just take and let's see what this control is on this box. Let's learn a little bit about control. So that 1.5 carrier that I had, it's still there, but it ain't gonna do diddly for this amp. All right, there's that 1.5 carrier. What happened to my dead key up here? I had it at 300. Oh, it's gone. It's not even there. It's not even, why? because my attenuation is throwing it all away. So now let me get a carrier. Let's go up to the same, let's go to 200. So if I go to 200 there, let's see where we're at here. Wow, we're way up there, man. We're on top scale. That is a 6-watt carrier. See some audio on this, see what it does. Turn it all the way down. Audio, 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 audio. 400. So, yeah, you can back it down to 400. But here's the catcher. That 400 watts, that peak, it's still going to be way up there. That's why these guys love showing peaks so much. Peaker, tweaker, there you go. Peaker, tweaker, there you go. Peaker, tweaker, tweaker. So, even on this, all right? Peaker, tweaker, 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 tweaker. So, you take and you look at the power levels of things in RMS and in peak envelope power, your peak power is always going to be greater. That's why I keep telling you guys, quit buying into the peak basket. That's all anybody ever wants to show you. They don't want to take the time that they just spent a lot of time. If they had spent a lot of time on their units, they would have spent a lot of time on their video or thought on how to explain how to run their piece of equipment properly. Now I guess I'm just doing it for them. I'm filling those boots for those guys because a lot of what I'm doing here is the same thing you need to do with the next guy's equipment if it's built properly. All right? Hi. What are you doing? Molly, did you get a haircut? Did you get all of them cut? Yes, you're waving? You waving? Hi. How are you? Let's show you everybody. Look how pretty you are. You got your hair, you're really like baby soft right now, aren't you? Yes, you are. Uh-huh. You gonna wave? 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 Yeah. Now, you just said hello. You said hello to everybody and you wave, sit. You gonna sit? I'm gonna hand that to you. There you go. Thank you, Steve George. Your bag's almost gone. Huh, Molly? You've been working on that one, huh? Yes? Okay. I'm going to give you one more and we're going to come back to you, all right? Boy, you got some dirty, birdie eyes. You've been sleeping? Lazy Sunday, huh? Here you go, honey. All right. Go on, get in your bed. Get in your bed. All right. So, again, I take the time to build this equipment and I do take my time on it, guys. And that's the truth. I'm not in a hurry to break some world record how fast you can build a box. I did that in my younger years. I don't much care about that anymore. But what I am doing and what I do care about is the quality of equipment I'm putting out, the quality of the video that I'm putting out, and I'm doing it for free. I'm not charging you a plug nickel for doing this video. I really enjoy explaining what's happening with this equipment. So let's get back into this. So if we can turn all the way down to 400 watts RMS. That takes out all the filler, but guess what? That peak is still there. And that's what everybody dwells on, is that peak number. And you guys need to really disregard that, especially if you're watching the video. If they just show you peak, I would never go back and watch that guy's video again. That's the honest truth. So, we just try to show all aspects of what's happening here. So, again, let's take a look at the amperage at the low power, okay? Take a look at the amperage and low power. Audio, audio, amperage, audio, audio, amperage. So if you look at those numbers, they're a little heavier than what a 5 transistor would do. But you're making about the same RMS, so that's why that makes sense. But you still, it's drawing a little more because why? You have a lot more mouths to feed here. You have, oh, let's say a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's like 4 more pills or so. 5 more pills. And the energy has to go somewhere. So again, let's take and back things down some more. Let's go down. Let's say you don't have a super stud radio. Let's just see what it does. Audio, 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 audio. All right, so there's 7.5, 8-watt bird radio. Let's see what this thing does. We'll crank her up right quick. We'll go back to the other way. Set a carrier. Maybe. Back her down some more. Turn it up some more. There we go. All right, let's see what we got here. We're hanging out right around 2 watts now. Okay. About 320, 340. Audio, audio, audio. That's a soft radio. Audio, audio. That is a very soft radio. Audio, audio. So in the same sense, this just goes and proves exactly that I have bigger drivers in here, because that same soft radio, if you go back and watch 22290's run, or 21446's run, or 2290's 1446 or 454's run, at that voltage, at what this output radio is doing, we can't make the power. All right, so if you don't have a radio, this is a radio running, audio back all the way down, audio, audio. So now I'm at right around 7.5 watts using into this amp. Here's my input reflection, audio. Remember, that is a 5-watt slug. We're now making the power on the RMS because I don't have the drive for my radio, and the attenuation is wide open on the potentiometer in front of the amp. Audio. At best, I hit 700, but my tweaker, still rolling hard. That's why I say don't buy into these guys. Here's your RMS, audio, 700. And let's look at the RMS on this one, audio, 750, 800, and a tweaker. And tweaker again. Tweaker. A little bit different between those slugs. And here's the analog peak, audio. About 1650, 1700 there. 50 watts of line here. 2500 slug, audio. Right there, that's 750, a little over. So, in this case, an example, if you have a hot radio, this is the box that you want to use. A hot Cobra, like a Dustin R&R, or a well-tuned Cobra 29, or a single final radio that can produce upwards of 9, 10, 11 birds. That's the radio you want to run in this box. Now, if you don't have that type of radio, this is going to help the guys trying to decide what box, what 2x8 that he wants, and what driver stage he wants, because I do ask these same questions that I'm telling you about when you're talking to me on the phone. It's not an internet purchase here. You don't go on there and, no, you're talking to me on the phone, and it starts off in text, and normally I'm going to call you if you're able to talk with me. If you're not able to talk with me, you talk Spanish, I have a guy that helps me out, and he will take and relay some stuff to you and then get you all on board. So, again, I am controlling my radio by simply manipulating my voltage right here. Now, the only way I can make this amplifier do more power, I'm going to run it one more time on, we'll just use this analog here, this 2500. You know what, I'll make it really simple for you. I'm going to go with 2500 here, and we'll go into RMS, and then we'll go to peak. Audio. All right, 675, 700 RMS. Audio. 1650, 1700 peak. Now, if I turn my radio up to where it was pretty much tuned at, now we're going to see this thing go and rip. But I got to control my dead key again. So I turn my wattage up. There we go. Alright, now let's see what my radio's pumping out now. Audio. That 10.5 and 11 bird. That is a great radio, Dustin R&R radio. You can get those radios from Fat Boy, or I say manufacturing, Walmart next door. Well, here's your input reflection, audio. Still a little bit over that half, almost creeping to, it's not a half, that's 1/10 of a watt. Alright, we'll go back to this, and we're going to go back to RMS, forward. Audio. So it's 8850 there. And let's look at the reflection. Audio. 850, 900 on that slug. And let's see, tweaker time. Tweak. Audio, hello. Alright, 18. And tweak. Audio, hello. Well, about 100, about 50 to 100 difference on those two slugs. But anyway, you cut it. This is a simple test. And there's one left I have. Now, I cannot make any more power out of this unit until what I do, Molly. What do I have to do? What do? Do I have to add voltage? Huh? Do I? Tell me. Yes? No? Rolf? Okay. We're gonna add a little bit. Just a little. 3/4? 3/4 of a volt? Okay, 3/4 of a volt, Molly. Thank you. Alright, so we're gonna switch. Alright, so we're gonna switch over. We're hanging around 14.7, 14.8 before. Now we're going to take a look. Let's see where we're at. Audio, 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 audio. 15.6 is where we're going to run. So we're right at almost a full volt. About 3/4. It's still 3/4. I say this every time I sit there and argue with myself. All right, radio drive. Is that all the same? Is that still going to be the same? What's going on, Ray? How are you? Radio, 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 radio. Same thing. All right, input reflection. 5 watts lug. Each line is 1/10 of a watt. Audio, 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 audio. Now we're at 2/10. All right, now what's going to happen? We're going to go into RMS. We're going to do this modes quick here. Audio, audio, audio. 900 on that one. Go down to this one. Audio, audio, audio. 1,000. All right, peak. Peak or tweak, 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 tweak. Picked up a couple hundred. Peak or tweak or tweak or tweaker. Audio. Same thing. Peak or tweaker. You're happy. All right. Analog. 2500. Top shelf. Audio, audio, audio. Go about 11 there. Let's see what we're doing to 1,000. Audio, audio, audio. Yep, getting right close to that corner. And here's your peaker, tweaker, 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 tweak, 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 tweak. Audio. Almost hitting that 2 grand. Now, what's the amperage? This is just a little bit of elevated voltage. Audio, 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 audio. 127. We're cooking with oil there. What's going on, Vincent? How are you? So, there you go. Hold on. Well, you know, Molly, you got your bone. You're chewing on your bone. You're such a good girl. Come here. You want to say goodbye to everybody? Come here. Come on over here. Come here. So how's things? How's the video? We all right? We're doing good? Yes? You're a good girl, huh? You gonna wave? Yeah? There you go. There you go, baby. You're a good girl, huh? You got your hair cut. Cindy did a nice job on you. Lady down the street cuts her hair. Gives her a bath, cuts her nails. Take care of my girl. Yeah. We got the Zippy song playing. Yep. Hmm? What do you think? Okay. Then what? Then what do you want to do? What do you think? Want this? Molly, you go sit. Now sit pretty. Sit all the way up. Pretty, pretty. Pretty, pretty. Good girl. Yeah. You know what's up, don't you? What do you think? We're all done? Yes, you're a good girl. All right, you ready? Good? You ready? You ready to go? Go get him. Go get him. All right, guys. Well, that cuts us off there for the Sunday night video. I think we covered what we need to cover on this unit. And again, these units are all on the price sheet. You just have to look at the driver stage and you get a selective on it. And I believe the driver stage is the difference between the pills is $8 between 2290 and 2879 standard. So it's $8 upgrade. It'll be $16 upgrade if you want to take and change out and have the 2879 stage put in the bill versus a 2290, 1446, or a 454. There you have it. I think I got a nice little unit. Ran her up on the antenna. Ran super good. Happy with these units and how they're turning out. Yes, they are work, and if you're a beginner or novice, pay attention because these things do change, and that's just the truth. And I'm not telling no lie, because you can ask anybody that's messed with these transistors over a period of time that there is deviations between the transistors sometimes, and if you're not paying attention, you may miss the memo. So pay attention to your equipment, and your equipment will pay attention to you. What's going on, Mike? How are you? 130 Atlantic City, New Jersey. I hope you're doing well over there, buddy. All right, guys, I am sliding out of here. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. I'm out. We gone now.